This is day 532 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor a coming share or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, it'd be greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. Today we are doing Siman Shin Chav still, Lama Gimel, and ending with Siman Shin Chav Aleph, Sif Daled. So, Shin Chav, Lama Gimel, and we said we're in the middle of this trying to explain, actually we didn't start explaining yet, we're going to explain the Beis Yosef about Chavish Pokako, B'Kak Shal Pishton, about the stopper of linen in the barrel. Lama Gimel, Bear Dvorim. The Isa B'Gemara, it says more, Hai Misuch Raisa Din Zaisa. The Asul Kov Chule, which should not be Psik Reisha. Misuch Din Zaisa appears here, quotes from Shabbos, Daf Kuf Yav, Yeshua Bachram, it's more recognizable from Ksuvas Daf Vav, where you stop up a barrel with a fabric stopper. So you're not allowed to tighten the fabric, because you're not allowed to Psik Reisha. Klomar, meaning, Shekorchen Beged Saviv HaBarza, they wrap a garment of a piece of clothing around the spigot. When you shove it into the hole of the barrel, some wine is going to get squeezed out. They hold that there's malamin even by colored liquids. So there's so that would be malabin in this case. That it has to be clear liquid in order to be malabin. The behind mishum farek, if by wine the issue is extraction. The issue is extraction. If the wine is lost, there's no prohibition on mefarek. The Raisa. The Arukh writes, "High neckev lemalahu." This hole is on top, and therefore Chachamim disallowed shoving in because it's schita. Because you want the wine to flow back into the barrel. But if the hole is on the side, since it's going to be lost, it's not lo nichole ad kan l'shoinag, so it's psikra lo nichole and it should be permissible. The Reed in Taisus argues the avagav lo nichole in kan is the raisa. There is, even though Psik Lo Nichole, there's no Issa D'Oraisa, Kom Midrabanan also. There's all Psik Lo Nichole is also Midrabanan. The Gama Torah, if you Machlekas Zuhain Sham, the Torah also means Machlekas. Blamadal, Vam Lo Noakim had Tafil Bebars of Mokum Shein Hayain Olech Libud. The Olam goes further in the Arukh. They're mati even where the wine does not get lost. As far as Arukh, Psik Lo Nichole, held that what the Arukh was made by Psik Lo Nichole, have a filuk she'ein olech libud. It's even when it doesn't go, that's not, the wine is not lost. The rak haven the Lo Nichole ein zemalocha. Since it's not Lo Nichole, it's not considered to be a malacha at all. Okay, Masha v'taisis v'kamakomas. V'zeu bal de tema. The b'zeb shita kabani yeshis rabbanon. It doesn't make any sense. It should be at least in this Rabbanan. The Mishnah Berurah says it's also the Raisa because you want the wine. And the Sharatzian says you're chayav v'chatos or kores. So it's why would this possibly be mutter? How could it be neiget b'zeh? Some people lamed schus. Because the spigot is long and it's like a sponge. So I'm not sure why this should make a difference. And the nearest Arukh HaShulchan, we have to mutter about this, or stutter about this. I'm sure about this. We see things are squeezement. So it's interesting. The harmony would be it's that it sponges up because it's a long spigot, and the cloth is completely within the spigot, so therefore nothing gets squeezed out. Nothing gets squeezed back into the barrel. But Arukh HaShulchan says it doesn't really. We see that things do get squeezed back in the barrel. There's no comparison to a sponge. So at least they should not have a vessel underneath the spigot when they shove the fabric in there, so that the wine goes ibud, gets lost. It doesn't get. They don't gather it. Even though the Rebbe argues and holds that's also he holds not like there's a famous machlokes in the Arukh and the Taisus are holding that subsequent lo nichale is mutter. The Taisus holding subsequent lo nichale is also drabanan. And of course, the famous psak of Mishnah Bura. Let's see how the Arukh HaShulchan paskins that b'shas adchak you can rely on the Arukh. In brisk, since Reb Chaim held that the Rambam held like the Arukh, some Simcha Zelig Grieger, the place in brisk held that halacha ma'aser can paskin like the Arukh, not just b'shas adchak, and therefore that is the basis of the heter for refrigerators. Because refrigerators that they would go on as a secret lo nichale, and like the Arukh, it's mutter. In any event, so what's the Arukh HaShulchan? We come anu somchim al Arukh. Oh, look, we rely on the Arukh. As long as it's a loss, as long as the wine is lost, we rely on the Arukh. Otherwise, be also the Rabban. Brackets come around sham cholek usilei kuri. The Ran holds like the Baal Taisus. And we call them a vurah shal Shulchan Aruch cholek v'shitas hataisus. The Shulchan Aruch goes into the sheet of the Taisus, and therefore he holds over here. The Beis Yosef said that the even though the olam is noeg heter, right, like the Arukh HaShulchan said, he should really at least remove the vessel from under the vessel from underneath the spigot. This is all what we saw in Lamed Beis. So the Arukh HaShulchan explained till now, and he says it's clear that the Shulchan Aruch goes with the sheet of the Taisus, and it's kind of like a name with schos that, but perhaps they hold like the Arukh where there's no kli underneath. Rambam b'chol it's also, but the Ramshi also no matter what. Like we wrote. So he wants to say that according to the Rambam, that it's pashut usher, not because he doesn't like the Arukh, but because it's malaben. And malaben is totally different than mefarik. Mefarik, if it goes libud of secret lo nichale, but malaben is really no secret lo nichale. The other taz of sip called in the base or chiyam mashkas at shulchan aruch siman shinu test over the yain have a ksham mashkin the kan kas of the malaben ayin sham. The taz eventually says right it says this malaben ve'efor ozeh or Chashon says I don't see this. V'mishum sif tez vav karbiyanu. Does not the shulchan aruch does not go with malaben. Mashkilik ben love and ladam, that which is distinguished between white and red wine. Who told him this? There's two different opinions. One's in Farik, one is Malabin. We're not trying to be Machalik in Malabin itself. It's because of Malabin. Mashkosav Beises Siragodo, Sham, and he also didn't pay attention to Beises, Sham may be called Deus Duke. He brought all the opinions. Okay, Lamed Hey. Kfar Kosam Shem Rambam. We brought we're saying in Rambam the Beseir Lekoskita. By hair, there's no such thing as squeezing. The time period Rashi Neshu Koshev Balea. Hair is tough and it doesn't absorb. The Miyani, I'm astonished. Listen, Rabbi Yosef feel like Cain. That's true. Rabbi Yosef feel that way. Rav Ashi Amar feel like Yesh Skita Beseir. Ashi does entertain the notion of Skita Beseir. But like Rav Ashi, who will do Asur, we should be like Rav Ashi because he's later. So I have to say this really the derech the chiyom Rav Ashi. He must hold that Rav Ashi didn't say that la halacha. He say maybe how do you know ain't skita b'seir? Maybe there is skita b'seir, but not that he intends to pass in yesh skita b'seir. Gam b'shar halacha krab Rav Yesh shem Rabin. Also it could be like Rav Yesh because they're 2 against 1. Milkapan is Rabban Yesh. Nevertheless, we hold by skit. Even though there might not be skita b'seir the Raisa, Rabban there is. L'chein tzrichim lizar halachim b'Shabbos shachas mikvah. If you go to the mikveh on Shabbos, you can't squeeze out your hair. This, of course, is when you take, if those who you can take a shower yontif, like myself, then you can't squeeze your hair after having come out of the shower. That's Arukh HaNefesh. When toothbrushes were made out of hair, then there was a problem. But now toothbrushes, of course, are made out of plastic, and therefore there are no problem. Schita, plastic is certainly not bolea. Ma'avav, kasaram percha beis din chavav. Shtei metaros zu al zu. You have two, I guess this is, I'm not sure what this is. Seems to be 2 mikvos. One on top of the other, and you take away the cork between the two of them, and you join them together I guess each one doesn't have a shear. Mouse is a let's see what it is. Mouse is a cock. We put the cork back in the issue. Anybody they see because don't come to squeezing. She died to she to mind. You have in mind that the water go out. We're plugging this to BBC Dorim, and you can stop up the spigot with clothing, anything which can be moved. In order that the water should not flow on the food and on the vessels. Okay, I'm still not sure what the taros are. Okay, look up at the Tosefta, Paraches of Erevin. It's either two pools in the mikveh, not necessarily pools in which you teifel. Either two pools or two troughs, like pipes, and you want to connect these two pipes together. So, and evidently there is a pkak which keeps them separate, and then you can take it out and put it back again. You're not going to come to schita because you're not going to plug it up again, because you want the water to go from one trough or one pipe to the other pipe. But you can put, now this is a separate halacha. You can stop up a spigot with clothing and anything else which you can be metaltel. That the in order to that water shouldn't flood an area where there's food or vessels. But you can't stop up a pipe with fabric in order that the water should flow through the pipe. Maybe there's a leak in it. Maybe there's an outlet which you want to close up. In order the water should go down to a bore, because you might squeeze out when you plug with this fabric the hole in the pipe. Because the cork of fabric is full of water. I'm going to show you. Vito said Parakas of the Erevin. Then that's the Sefta. Is you have in mind to connect the two pipes, the two troughs. So evidently you leave the pkak there, but you can leave it there not strongly plugged in, but softly. Or the water should connect from one to the other. Also, when you want to remove it, to actually have them fully connect, you're going to remove it gently. As opposed to the last case, when you were stopping up a pipe so water should come down, you put it in very, very tightly. And the plug is full of water, and you're going to squeeze it. But the middle case is difficult. That if you don't want water to flow to fall down through an opening onto ochlin and kalim, onto food and vessels, so then you're going to plug it strongly, right? So what about squeezing out the water? Right? But it says it says also here not going to plug it up properly. And move on. Not clear, we're not. He's plugging it when it's dry, so the water doesn't come to here. That in this last case, the plug is full of water. As opposed to the middle case, the plug is in a place where it remains dry. Shin Chofav, Dini Avos Malacha Shel Teichen Velash Mavshi Tosor Mabdo Umoko Mechadcho Mesarto Sarted V'Dini Tukoy Macho. Lots of stuff in this one. Grinding and kneading and skinning and tanning and smooth polishing and cutting and designing and fixing food. Grinding is an ab malacha. In the Mishkan they would grind the herbs. The drivs and malachas tchina cuts around so berches. Hatochin ki grogeres. Somebody who grinds the size of a grogeres chayev. Anybody who rubs who grates a spice some in morning, or herbs, like dyes, b'machdeshes, with a pestle, pestle, harez etochen chayiv, that is grinding chayiv. A mechatech tosh, if you could cut very finely vegetables which are not connected to the ground, obviously. Harez etochen, it's a derivative of teichen. Somebody who saws wood. Lanos mean the social in order to derive benefit from the sawdust. Or somebody who rubs a piece of metal slug. Chayev, he's liable if he wants, obviously, the splinters. Mishiyashu koshu, once he makes any amount of these splinters. Somebody cuts wood. Enochayev actually documem kidei levasho kigogers mi beitza. But if you're cutting wood and you're grinding it, you're not chayev until you have enough to cook a date's worth of eggs. That's right. You want to use the sawdust. It sounds like you're not. You'll be exempt because it's a malach to gufa if you don't want the sawdust. You can't say that. The Rambam mechayev me'entzich legufa. Rambam's malach to gufa is chayev. So what difference does it make what your purpose is? But what he means, if you don't want the sawdust, then you're just ruining, and mekalkel is potter. Going to low tzarich leitzim nasam midazu, such as you don't need the wood to be cut that fine. Tim located is a mekalkel. If that was not the case, then if you did need sawdust, some reason it's not mekalkel. The shear of a date is when you're grinding for eating. Like all other shear by food. For wood, it's the amount of wood which you would do otzaha, that you be chayav for taking out Shabbos, which happens to be also the Arukh HaShulchan beitas tanigolas. It's the amount, the day size of date of the date of a henzek, which I was saying shin aleph. It's 18 otzaha is the amount of wood you take out, which means the amount of wood you take out to cook a date's worth of a hen's eggs. Okay, that would show you how you're precise about. You have to have that shear. He says here in the if you cut them, I'm sorry, if you grind them, then the sawdust has to have that shear. If you cut them, so the pieces have to have the shear. Cutting, however, is not a derivative of tochen. It's its own amalacha, as we shall see. When you cut wood and you're precise about their measurements, it's a derivative of mechatech. When you're not precise about the measurements, the tochen. It's a derivative of tochen. And so too by anything else where tchina is relevant. Sharatina writes that there's a difference between noser and mechatech in terms of the shear. By noser, when sawdust chives, even by koshu, it's chashuv. I guess you need the sawdust. Because in mechatech you need as much to cook as the cook. But again, I don't know if that's true if you're deliberately making a size of them. I'm not sure what he means. Because if you really make a size of them, then you because of chatech, and then we're not enough to do with bishul. And then you're just cutting it without a shear. Without a purpose of special design or precision. Base. The mechatech yerek chayim tochen. That would show that when you cut vegetables, you're chayim because it's grinding. Zemi mash amru sham. Chaim on the parim silka. Somebody who cuts silka very fine. I think it's a turnip. Chaim mishum tochen is liable because of tochen. That's because of the dafka but silka shayat china. This is said specifically by this turnip. There's china. Abasharach l'shari. But other food is permissible. Ad kan l'shayno. Kabbalah they mean that if you shari because of silka mutter. Other vegetables besides silk, you're allowed to cut them out fine. But Rosh Kamal Lagamri and Misha Selachtoch, and the Rosh was astounded. Why should be any Isser cutting fine? You said, Perish Rashi, Tamur. What Rashi says is difficult. Why should something eaten and cut finely be considered to be grinding? Uperusha the silka, and he explains that silka is something else left together. He says that silka is it's wood from a palm tree. When you remove the fibers, some fine something like fine flour comes out. There somebody removes those fibers, it's chai because of tochen. I'm astounded at the tour so I guess Arukh HaShulchan is astounded at the tour who doesn't follow his father's shita. His father, the Rosh, said there's no more grinding by vegetables, only by the palm tree. Doesn't bring down a pair of the Rosh. It seems that the Torah says perhaps no chiv chatas. The Gemara haperush ka'aviv, because the Gemara is like his father. It's very about the palm tree. Nevertheless came to Rashi. So it's Rashi saying this is also lam loli bola hatir. He didn't have the gumption to say it's okay. So it's like stoichen, which is at least in the Rabbanan. Gimel varashba varan. Because of the hachtaparim silka, they write that this cutting the silka is it's only you're doing it to eat it tomorrow or as sometime later. To eat immediately, it's missile. And in this case, toichen with the chiddush is that toichen in this respect we like borer. That time to eat, you're allowed to select and eat. Test. Doesn't mean literally time to eat, but to eat it immediately within a short amount of time. And even one person can do the cutting fine for the entire assembled masses. You don't have to have each person do their own tochen, their own cutting. Dal, give your Ram issue. You have to understand what the Rambam writes. He seems to say like Rashi that the cutting vegetables is tochen. Klomar chatilos dakos. You cut into small pieces. Those, if it's the big pieces, but even on Yom Kippur, you're allowed to cut large pieces of vegetables. But yet elsewhere he writes, you cut vegetables very finely in order to cook it. This is tochen and your chayav. That's so you can't crush animal fodder or calves in front of an animal. But you can cut gourds and dead animals. Fish ain't pears because there's no grinding by fruit. Ad kan l'shono. So it sounds like grinding is only by grain. Sorry, dafka by cooking. It seems like dafka if you cut it up fine for cooking, but eat it raw is okay in a salad. That's the Rambam. That's the opinion of Rambam. Because he read so many Rabbanon it's also to cut it up finely, even for immediate consumption. It seems that the Rambam in Paraches, according to him, also had the girsa the vashlo. But to me, I'm astonished. Says Arukh HaShulchan, it's a logical source of astonishment. The mind of what does it make in terms of grinding? If they have to cook or not to cook. Maybe you say because the primary grinding is by flour, and flour is in order to bake. So all grinding has to be in order to cook. Shami says if you grind salt, you grind pepper. It's all salt for cooking. Furthermore, Omer Sham, when you grind garlic in a grinder, why? Because of grinding. And somebody who beats linen, flax, you're as well. And you also chayav by wood and by metal when you smooth the file and get off little pieces. So obviously it's not for bishul. A little bit different about Beis Yosef. Now what Beis Yosef writes, Yisrael would say the mashkasa ram k'dei levashlo. That was trying to say in order to cook it. Ain't coming else to daf levashlo. Doesn't mean specifically in fact to cook it. You cut it very finely at k'dei levashlo, to the point that you can cook it. Somebody who makes who cuts for cooking cuts it very finely. I think nowadays you cut even more finely for salads, but evidently at that time, at least according to what Arukh HaShulchan writes till now, mechatchim labishul would be the fine, and that would be the shear at which you'd be chayim mishum toichin.